Yeah, I came into the international development, global development space, and then moved into philanthropy really from the standpoint of seeing a real gap in how transformational change happens. Change can happen from a public policy perspective and can happen from a market access and market opportunity perspective, but there's still a gap where the government hasn't stepped in and the market hasn't taken over. So for me, philanthropy became a way for me to realize my interest in bringing about social impact because there was a gap. How do we use philanthropic dollars to de-risk the government coming in or the market-driven solutions? So philanthropy for me was an opportunity to have a lot of social impact from a de-risking standpoint, from being a catalytic investor, coming up with new solutions that were innovative, that were novel, that were useful, that were disruptive to current systems. So for me, it was the opportunity to be creative, to really bring about a lot of social impact, but also to fill a gap that's missing in terms of how change really happens. So for me, it was an opportunity to manifest my belief that change really happens through people, and by giving to people, by investing in Africans and their ideas, we can really bring about change. So for me, philanthropy has all it has to offer to how I can realize my own interests, but also to bring about change in the continent that I wish to be a part of. As I said, with philanthropy, I look at philanthropy in its best and most strategic form where it's results oriented. So that means going in with some assessment of what the probability of success of the endeavor is going to be. In the areas of economic development, I think about this in terms of income generation. I think about it in terms of job creation, revenue growth. And so going in knowing that we're trying to improve people's incomes, that we're trying to create jobs, that we're trying to grow revenues for grassroots, small and growing businesses. So going in with some probability of success and some probability of what the real impact is going to be. So having a baseline assessment, having an intervention, and then being able to evaluate and course correct along the way. So going in with an exit strategy in mind. I think the next generation of philanthropists are so impressive. I mean, I see this from the conference here at the African Philanthropy Forum, those who are in their late teens and early 20s and 30s that are coming along with the mindset of having not only having a triple bottom line perspective of social impact, of environmental impact, of economic impact. And so I think the next generation is doing a really good job in terms of making sure that their philanthropic endeavors are long lasting and that they're coming up with solutions and supporting solutions that have economic, social, as well as environmental concerns, the people, the planet, and profit. So I would say to them to keep up the good work, to keep pushing themselves, to measure the impact of their giving and the impact of their efforts, to go in with a result orientation in mind, and also to really understand that the act of giving is also self-rewarding, that they are able to give and bring about change in those communities and in those populations, but it also does something for ourselves. So it is an endeavor that you can do well and you can do good. And so I just really, on some levels, keep up the good work. Local ownership of the challenges and local ownership of the solutions. And so once the community accepts the challenge and makes that known to others, such as philanthropists, of what their real needs are, that philanthropists can come in and help meet those challenges, co-create with communities, and the communities participate in their own development, but local ownership of the challenges and local ownership of the solutions. Local ownership of the challenges and local ownership of the solutions. And so once the community accepts the challenge and makes that known to others, such as philanthropists, of what their real needs are, that philanthropists can come in and help meet those challenges, co-create with communities, and the communities participate in their own development, but local ownership of the challenges and local ownership of the solutions.